I can't believe we're on S8 already. Amazing. And we're ready to our Moo Masterpiece. So for this, you need 2 sheets. You need this one with S8 on the top, and you need this one that has S8. You will also need a scissors, some glue, and some sellotape if you have it. Okay, so first what we're going to do is we're going to start with this piece of paper. What I want you to do is cut along the black dotted line. So remember, we were practicing our cutting. We want to hold it with our thumb on the top, and we're going to cut in a straight line all the way down on that black dotted line, all the way to the end. Oh, if the paper is getting in your way like it is with me, just cut it off, and then it's not in your way anymore. So take your time. Brilliant. Okay, now we need to go into the middle of the page, and we're going to cut on our next black dotted line. So in the end, you should have 2 strips of paper, and that is to make our headband. You're doing great cutting. Take your time. Make sure helper hand is holding the page and helping out. You might need to move up the page as you cut. Super. And last one. Good job with your cutting. Now, if I went too fast for you, I just want you to pause the video, and you can press play when you've got your 2 strips cut out. So you should have 2 pieces just like this. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to turn the pieces so the white part is facing up towards you. You're going to get some glue or sellotape, whichever you prefer. And we're going to put a little bit of glue on the end of one of the pieces, just on the white part. And then what we're going to do is we're going to glue the other piece on top of it. So sellotape can be really good here as well if the glue isn't sticking it, just to make sure it really stays in place. So here's a piece of my sellotape that I cut off earlier, and I'm going to put that on top as well, just to really hold it in place. Super. So it should look like this on the outside, that one side is stuck together. Now my other side isn't stuck together. So what I want you to do now is, you might need to go in front of a mirror, or you might need to get help from mum and dad or an adult that you're with. You're going to hold it around the back of your head, and you're going to bring it around the front. So as you can see, my head is going to be bigger than yours. So this actually fits my head perfectly. But for you, it might be very big. If it's very big, I want you to hold it in place where it fits you, okay? And then what I want you to do is take it back down. You might need to cut little bits off the side, or you might just need to glue a lot of it together, overlapping it. So you want to bring it together and then glue it into place. If it was too big on you, you might need to glue it overlapping a little bit more, or you might need to trim a little bit off. Okay, so mine actually fit me perfectly. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the end here. I'm going to bring it around, and I'm going to stick it onto the other side. Once again, I'm going to use a little bit of sellotape, because sometimes it just won't stay in place with the glue, and sellotape is great to really get it to stay in place. So in the end, you should have your headband that looks just like this. Okay, that is the first part. Now I'm going to show you how to put the cow's ears on it. So I'm just going to put our headband over here for a minute. And I'll get our little scraps of paper out of the way. We might scrunch them into a little ball. Brilliant. And I put that over there. Now I'm going to get a little bit of sellotape ready, because we need it for our next part. So I'm just going to pull the sellotape off. A really handy way to do it is if you put it on the side of the table. A few little strips that you might need, so you don't have to keep trying to get the sellotape open when you're making it. So next part that we have to do is we need to cut out the cow's ears. So we're going to cut along the black lines. So take your time here. So we do little snips. Make sure you can see your thumb on the top and the nail. If you keep forgetting that and your hand keeps turning, maybe put a little dot or a sticker on your thumb's nail so you can see it the whole time. So we got to get helper hand, turn the page, keep going. Oh, you're doing so good at this. Brilliant. And now we need to cut out our next part. So along the black dot, the black line, the thick black line, that's what you're cutting on now. If I'm going too fast for you, don't worry, you can always pause the video and press play when you've cut up, when you have all the pieces cut out. So that's the 2 pink pieces cut out. Oh, sorry, I'm knocking the whiteboard. Now we cut out our next piece. Good job. So with the top piece, make sure you're cutting on the thick black line. Great job. So if it's a little bit tricky to cut it when it's on this big piece of paper, just have a smaller piece of paper in your hand and that can be a little bit easier to be able to cut it out. So helper hand, working with our doing hand. Super, our next piece is cut out. And then our last piece, look at all this extra paper. That can make it tricky. So I'm going to cut off that extra paper so that I've got a smaller piece of paper when I'm doing my cutting. That can be easier to hold, especially if you have a little hand. Good job. So we want to do little cuts so that you can keep turning the paper so you get that curve. Excellent job. Okay, if you haven't got your 4 pieces cut out, pause the video and press play when you do. So I'm going to get rid of this scrap paper. Remember what we do with our scrap paper? We scrunch it up with our 2 hands really small into a tiny ball. Brilliant. Okay, now what we want to do is you want to get the 2 white pieces and you can see that there's a little dotted line. We know that that dotted line is a guide to where our pink piece should be stuck inside that dotted line, okay? So we're going to have our 2 white pieces. We're going to get our glue. We're going to put glue inside the dotted lines, the kind of dashed lines. So you want to put lots of glue inside there. I'm going to put lots of glue on the other one. Good job. When you're finished with the glue then, make sure you put the top back on so it doesn't dry up. Get your 2 pink pieces and we're going to stick them inside the dashed line. So really push it on with your fingers. Flatten it out so they really stick on. Get the other one. So we put it on top and then you get your index finger and really smooth it out so it stays in place. So helper hand needs to hold it still and the other one's going to smooth it out so that it's really stuck. Okay, perfect. Now we have our 2 cow's ears. But cow's ears don't always look like this. And I'm going to show you how we can make them look even more like cows. So what I want you to do first is you're going to get the 2 ends here. So not the pointy part, the other side. And you're going to bend them in towards each other. So when you have them bent in, we're going to give a little squeeze to the bottom part here. Little squeeze like that. Okay, so it should look like this in the front. Then what I want you to do is take the pieces up here and fold them back over your finger and the other piece fold it back and then squeeze them. Pinch them, pinch them, pinch them. So basically what you've done is I'm going to show you again. You get the 2 pieces on either side and you're going to bend them in towards each other. So we bend them in and then we give a little squeeze on the other side. Then we get our piece at the top and we bend it back so that we don't bend it the whole way back. Our finger is holding it here. So we bend it back on that side, bend it back on the other side and then give it a little squeeze like that. Perfect. Okay, now what I want you to do is we're going to get our headband and I want you to decide what part's going to be the front of it. So this is going to be the front of my headband. So then the ears are going to go on either side, okay? So the best way, cow's ears sometimes go a little bit down like this rather than sticking up. They kind of go down or to the side. So I want you to decide where you want your cow's ears to go. And then I want you to get some of your sellotape. So I'm just going to have a quick look at my cow's ear here, where it should be going. So mine's going to go here and you already have that little part that's been bent in that's easy to stick on. So you're going to put that on the side, hold it with your 2 hands, get your tape, which is a bit tricky, and then you're going to tape that part onto the side of your headband. Now, you might need a few pieces of tape, but you're going to tape that flat part onto the side of your headband. So you've got your ear here. And then if your ear is going down too much or you want it to go out, you can actually just bend it back up and play around with it so it goes the way you really want it to look. Okay, so that's my first cow ear on that side. Now we're going to make the second one. So I'm going to put my headband over to the side. Let's see if you can remember the steps. Step 1, get the two sides here. Not the pointy side, these two sides. Fold them in towards each other and then squeeze that middle part. Brilliant. Now hold that part with your pinch, your thumb and your index finger, and then fold the parts back down and then squeeze it again all together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Brilliant. Now get your cow headband and we're going to go to the other side. So I'm going to decide, I really want it to be kind of around the same place on the other side. And I'm going to get some sellotape. And this is the part your two hands need to work together. So one is going to hold that piece in place and the other gets your sellotape and you try and stick it on. You might need 2 pieces of sellotape, you might only need 1. And then you can look at your ears and decide, okay, I want mine to go a little bit more up, or I want that one to go to the side a little bit more. So you can kind of bend them as you want. But then they should both be on either sides. And then you can put on your Moo Masterpiece and look, you've got a cool headband. I look just like a cow now. So you can have so much fun maybe playing a game at home with this. But this is our Moo Masterpiece and I will see you in the next activity.